Greetings and thank you for tuning in to My Journey with Paula G. We'd like to thank our underwriters, the Good Actor Studio of Marietta, Georgia, my coffee shop at East Lake, Pastors Time International Bible College, Augusta, Georgia, with Dr. Paul and Marcia Kelly, Creekside Dental Incorporated of Douglasville, Georgia, Lusu Designs with Brandon Sampson of Maryland, Survival Radio Network and Clicks Photography by Clark Garrison, and Positive Power XXI Christian Media and Radio Network with Journey Was Live worldwide. We hope you enjoyed this presentation and tune in again. Embrace the journey with Paula G.
Thank you to LMB Tax Service, underwriters for My Journey with Paula G. LMB Tax Service is the premier company. LMB Tax Service offers information on the tax law changes, the most overlooked deductions, and what to bring to tax preparation. Thinking about setting up a business? LMB Tax Service provides information on the process. Visit LMB Tax Service at lbtaxservice.com for more information and for your tax service needs.
Love came rushing in, so fear couldn't have me. I thought about giving up, but walked in when you promised me. In the beginning you breathed on me to establish purpose in me, yeah. Then it's when you spoke to me and told me to walk and believe, yeah. And who do you say I am? Lead me to still waters, lead me to your altar, Yahweh, Yahweh, that's what I call you. Lead me to still waters, lead me to your altar, Yahweh, Yahweh, and you will believe. Love came rushing in, so fear couldn't have me. I thought about giving up, but walked in when you promised me. In the beginning you breathed on me to establish purpose in me, yeah. And then that's when you spoke to me and told me to walk and believe, yeah. And who do you say I am? That's what he said to me, yeah. And who do you say I am? Lead me to still waters, lead me to your altar, Yahweh, Yahweh, that's what I call you. Lead me to still waters, lead me to your altar, Yahweh, Yahweh, and you will believe. Tearing down altars that don't look like you, Jesus. Tearing down altars built on false beliefs. 'Cause I put my trust in Yahweh. 'Cause I give my yes to Yahweh. Tearing down altars that don't look like you, Jesus. Tearing down altars built on false beliefs. 'Cause I put my trust in Yahweh. 'Cause I give my yes to Yahweh. My yes, my yes, my yes, my yes to Yahweh, Yahweh. That's what I call you. Hey, yeah, Yahweh.
Welcome to My Journey with Paula G, where we juggle this journey called life while walking in the gifts and talents that God has given us. I am so glad that you have joined us for another episode of My Journey with Paula G, and we are coming to you live from Atlanta in front of a live studio audience, and we are so appreciative of each and every person that has joined us. You all know I begin each episode with a word of inspiration from one of our listeners, one of our followers, one of our viewers, one of the individuals who may have attended one of our events. And our inspirational word today comes from Mr. Curtis Banks, and he quotes famous words from Mother Edith Hines. If you all recall, we had a conversation with Mother Edith Hines, who we believe is the oldest living Gold Star mom, and that is a mother who has lost a child in combat, and she lost her son during the war, during the Korean War. So he quotes Mother Hines, "Give me my flowers while I can smell them." What does that mean to me? If you love someone, show them that you love them while they are alive. Tell them you love them and show them that you love them while they are alive. Don't wait till they die to buy flowers. They can't smell them after they're gone. So take the time to love those that are near and dear to you while they're still living. You all know I always say time is precious. It is the one thing that you cannot get back. Forgiveness is forever, so whatever issues you may have with a family member, life is too short. Forgive, forget, and embrace the journey. Well, this episode, I'm always excited to have my episodes, but this particular episode I'm excited because this lady sitting next to me today, let me tell you, she's an Army nurse, she's a certified health coach. She's known as Miss Fit Foxy 50 and beyond. I consider her a miracle, a survivor. She has the spirit of a warrior, and she's here today, and she's going to give us her testimony, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about her journey. She is amazing, and she is Jean Turner, and I am so happy to have you. I've got to give you a hug already.
Thank you.
Oh, because I know what your journey has been and continues to be, and just for you to be here is just answered prayer. So share with our audience a little bit about your journey, just to be able to sit in this chair.
Amen. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. I'm very excited to be here and to share my testimony. So, Army Nurse Corps Officer, the best of health, right? No medical conditions, not on any medications, and suddenly, that's what I call this journey. In a blink of an eye, they found a spot on my lung, summer of 2017, actually. But they continued to monitor for a couple of months. Fast forward to May of last year, 2018, it began to grow. So initially it was a centimeter, it began to grow. So my oncologist was like, well, let's go ahead and biopsy. We've been monitoring, it's starting to grow, we're seeing changes. Let's biopsy. June of last year, they biopsied and it came back malignant. So the day after the 4th of July, last summer, they told me it was malignant. And so, the surgeries, and I started chemo. Now, there are so many signs that God showed me, girl, I got you. Okay? Number one, the tumor did not spread past that little spot in my lung, so it did not metastasize.
It was contained.
It was contained, yes, right in that little focal area. It was contained. So that was the first miracle. God said, girl, I got you. I got this. And so I had the surgery. They removed it. The lymph nodes surrounding that area were all benign. But, as you know, because it was such an aggressive form, and you never know, yes, they didn't pick up anything on their CT scans then, you never know if a little tiny piece of the tumor broke off and they just can't see it now. So I went through a total of 7 rounds, 14 chemotherapy doses, one of the hardest and most potent doses that is known. And so God kept me through all of that. And fast forward so I took my last chemo May 29th of this year. Praise God.
Yes.
And so fast forward to August, September, 2 months ago. So I'm doing good, think I'm doing good. Now I did notice that over the course of a 2-week period, I started not feeling good. And so finally, and being a nurse, And then being a soldier in the Army, we push ourselves.
Spirit of a warrior.
Spirit of warrior,
Yes.
that fighting spirit.
Yes.
And so finally one night, Wednesday, August 7th, I told my husband something's wrong. I got to go to the hospital. I just kept hearing in my spirit, go to the hospital, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I thought he was going to take me to the hospital, but I couldn't even go down my steps. Couldn't even go down a flight of steps. Remember when you were kids, you used to slide down the steps on your bottom?
Yeah.
It was fun then, right? Not
Not
that
this
night.
age, right.
Not at my age
Right.
too, right?
Slide down the steps.
And so got to the bottom of the steps, I did not have the energy or the breath to walk to the car. So I said, call the ambulance, and he did. And they came and they took me to the nearest hospital. And initially, you know how you go to emergency room, they triage you, and it's like, well, everything looks good. But I still needed to see the doctor. Well, after a 6-month wait in the emergency room, okay, it was the next morning, the morning of August 8th, and the nurses and everybody was changing shifts, and finally they called me to come in the back so the doctor can see me. Now, I remember my husband helping me into the wheelchair and him wheeling me back to the door where the nurse was calling me to come through. I don't remember nothing after that till about 2.5 weeks later. So when I woke up, I found out I was in ICU. I have coded. That means cardiac pulmonary resuscitation. My husband and I will tell you, because they told me, because a lot of this I didn't know because I was unconscious.
Right.
The doctors came out and told them I had a 1% chance of surviving. They didn't expect me to make it past the next 24 hours. And oh, by the way, they had to medevac me from Henry County to Midtown Atlanta, and they didn't even expect me to survive the medevac. So 2.5 weeks later, I'm opening my eyes and I'm seeing monitors and I'm seeing this machine at the bottom of my bed called an echo. Actually, they were allowing my heart to rest, and this machine was the one pumping blood.
Pumping your heart.
Exactly. It was acting like my heartbeat.
Wow.
And I saw all these monitors around me. And being a nurse, I've been a nurse 32 years. I knew
So you
something
knew
had
what was-
I knew something had happened.
You were laying there diagnosing yourself.
We
I know.
do that. We do that. As nurses, we do that. And so I'm seeing all of this, and I'm seeing faces at my bedside. And originally, I didn't know that my family and all these folks had visited me. They say, well, yeah, we visited you once, twice, 2 or 3 times.
You weren't aware.
I wasn't aware at all. And when I finally came to and seen all these monitors and everything, come to find out, it was like 2.5 weeks later, after August 8th. And so the amazing thing was, I remember one evening, I think it was evening, I'm not sure, it looked kind of dark outside. And it was 2 nurses, one at each side of my bed. And they was like, Miss Turner, what are you humming? What are you humming? Because at first I didn't realize I was humming. But the more they asked me that, I realized, yeah, I am the one humming. And they was like, what are you humming? What are you humming? I was humming because I began to recognize I was humming, and then what I was humming. And it was Walk With Me, Lord. Walk With Me.
Come on now.
I ain't heard that song in about 2 or 3 decades. Mommy and Nana.
One of those
that's
old
the
songs, the old
school.
church, and
That's
the
right.
wooden floor.
Wooden floor. There you go. And if you was in the tent, the sawdust on the floor, tent meetings. And it was the more they asked me, the louder I heard myself getting. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. You walked with my mother, walk with me. And so, as the days went by, I was still in and out. When I was awake, I did start recognizing faces, recognizing my husband and my kids and everybody. But I still wasn't able to move that well or anything. And but God brought me through it. There's a lot that went on that I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
But when I finally came to, they started doing a lot of diagnostic tests and MRIs and stuff to see with my heart. Before I left the hospital, though, my heart had dropped. I had only, they said, less than 10% function of my heart when I entered the hospital.
Wow.
And before I left, it was up to about 35% when I left the hospital on August 29th. Left there, went to rehab. But when I tell you, the God is real.
Yes.
Look, I'm just to be honest. I don't know how people don't believe he real.
Right.
And if I
But
ever,
you're a
ever,
testimony.
I am a living testimony that he is real.
And indeed you are, because I remember getting that message that Jean was might not, but was not going to be able to make the live taping. And here she is. When we come back from the break, we are going to continue this testimony. We are going to continue this journey. This is My Journey with Paula G. We'll be back in a few moments.
I know that God can do what He promised for you. Alright. Hold on, keep the faith. He wants the best for you. Don't you know that God has good intent? So I wanna tell the world about it. So be the light of the world. I choose you. I choose you, Lord. I'm walking in my victory to the place I choose you, Lord. I choose you, Lord. I know that God can do what He promised for you. Alright. Hold on, keep the faith. He wants the best for you. Don't you know that God has good intent? And I wanna tell the world about it. So be the light of the world. I choose you, yeah. I choose you, Lord. I'm walking in my victory to the place I choose you, yeah. I choose you, Lord, yeah. Show me the way to your heart, 'cause I don't wanna be apart from you, yeah.
Welcome back for the second half of My Journey with Paula G. And we are here having a phenomenal conversation with this woman right here. She has the spirit of a warrior. She has a testimony. Earlier in the segment, she was sharing with us her testimony about her illness and about how she coded. And really is not supposed to be here, but look at God. With God, all things are possible.
Yes,
And
yes.
indeed, they are. Now, earlier you were telling us about your journey, and you mentioned something a while back about we were talking about your walk with God, and you were saying how you've always walked with God, but it has been inconsistent. And you mentioned something that an oncologist mentioned to you. Can you share with us what that was?
Yes, so, grew up in church, believed in God, but I have to admit, over the years, there were some things I put ahead of God, and my walk with Him was very inconsistent.
As we all have.
Career,
As we all have.
trying to make the next rank and different things
Yeah.
like that. But my oncologist had reminded me of something. The day that she told me that the tumor was malignant, she reminded me of a few things. She said, number one, she said, you remember back when we first, started doing scans? She said, something told me Something to keep monitoring you. Yes, so she monitored me for several months before the tumor even started growing in the biopsy and that part started. She said, something told me
To keep
to
monitoring.
keep monitoring you.
So had she not listened,
Right.
to
We
that
know
voice,
who that
yes,
was.
yeah, that still small, we say that still small voice, something told me, but that still small voice. So had she not listened,
Had she not listened, and because it was aggressive type,
yes,
yeah.
wow, that is huge. Well, as part of that journey, as a result of that journey, part of that journey, you now have a platform of Miss Fit Foxy 50 and beyond. You just own that one.
Yes,
Fit
that's
Foxy. I love it. Share with us a little bit about
So
that.
yeah, about 2 years prior to this health challenge, I started my own business, my nursing coach business, and Fit Foxy 50 and Beyond was the name because I was over 50.
Yeah.
And once we reach a certain age, 50 and beyond, we start going through some physiological changes in our body. That's normal physiological changes. But how do we maintain a state of health even through that? How do we practice care and, age gracefully?
Yes.
And
yes.
so I had started that company. God told me that I am to teach others how to be stewards over their health.
Okay.
We're taught how to be stewards over finances and other things,
Right.
but no one teaches, and the church doesn't talk about being stewards
Stewards
over your health.
Yes.
And so I started that company, and honestly, when I started chemo, the chemo was so intense, I couldn't keep up with it. So I ended up terminating it, but in that, I already had signature programs for it, all these teaching and educational programs geared to those of us 50 years young and beyond.
Men
I like
and
to
or
say
women.
men and
Men and
women.
women,
If
yes.
you're 50 years, I know. See, the name fools people. They Fit Foxy fail. She's talking about women. No, health is health,
Health is health.
and we all can benefit from learning how to take care and be stewards of our health.
Yes.
And so now it's my signature program for those of us Fit Foxy 50 and beyond, in addition to some other programs to teach others how to be stewards over their health.
So what are some nuggets that you can share with us, or a couple of things that you can share with us of how we can be fit, foxy, and beyond?
Fit Foxy 50 beyond. Number one, prevention is key.
Okay.
But my platform has changed. At one moment, I was just speaking about prevention. But going through the health challenges that I have in the last 16 months or so, we have got to get to a point to where we are maintaining a state of health, even in the midst of chronic illness or disease or sickness. And I am now a witness that how we care for ourselves, our health during wellness, periods of wellness, will affect our outcome should we find ourselves in a suddenly position. It does affect your prognosis. It does affect your recovery. So in periods of wellness, we have to practice stewardship over our health. I can't tell you the number of times the oncologists, even the cardiologists are amazed that there's like, your heart was strong from the beginning. And it's good that you was a runner and doing all these things. We have got to practice stewardship,
Yeah.
even
And
during
that's a challenge because
wellness.
we get busy every day. We get up, we rush to work, we rush home. We have to get the children or grandchildren
Right.
here, there, and everywhere. We're grabbing fast food. We're not drinking enough water. We think we feel okay. We're tired, but then the thing I think that catches us is that fatigue becomes the norm. So then we don't start to recognize
There you go.
when our health starts to descend. We don't
There
start to
you go.
recognize
You
because
don't-
fatigue is now my norm. So if I wake up with a headache, well, I'm just tired. Not realizing that may be a sign of something.
There you go.
know.
And we run so much. And, it's like I tell my family, Jesus even rested on the seventh day.
Well, come on now.
So you got to have one day out the week to say, you know what, I'm
Turn
going to
everything
chill.
off.
I'm going to turn everything off. You rather do that than something to happen to make you rest.
And that is so important because we're in such a microwave society. Everything is yesterday.
Right.
We're connected to these phones and these devices, and everything is instant. And it really does take some effort to just simply turn off the switch
Right.
one day a week.
At least.
Preferably Sunday, but whatever your one day a week looks like,
Right,
Whatever your one day a
exactly.
week looks like, to turn off that switch, those
Right.
devices, all of those things, and let your body rest,
Right.
let your mind rest,
Yes.
because it
talk
has to
about it.
it has to rejuvenate. And like you said, you're a witness.
And there's so many people, we're hearing a lot about mental health
Yes.
now. And I believe a lot of it is because stress. Stress plays a key role in disease. And, the fact that we're not escaping the rat race, finding time to escape the rat
And
race.
it's a silent killer as
It
well.
is.
It's a silent killer as well. You're still active duty.
Yes.
And we thank you so much for your service, because that is a journey in itself, being in
yes.
the military. Share with us, as you have come through the past 20 plus years as an Army nurse, share with us what you feel the civilian public needs to know. Something that you feel.
I feel that what I can share with the civilian population is this: our families are our backbone. You know, a lot of credit goes to the soldiers, go to us because we've deployed,
Yes.
but our families, they're holding the fort back at home, and they allow us to do our job.
Yes. Yeah.
So they play a big role in our careers, and I thank my husband James
Yes.
and my sons. Well, my sons are grown, but you know,
But
they're
even
military
military
brats.
brats, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And it was harder, you know, when you dual military, because my husband he retired after 29 years, so when both parents,
Right.
and you run the risk of both parents possibly being deployed
At
around the same time.
two different hot spots.
And that's when your extended family comes into
in,
play. So
yeah.
the family is very important. So so when you thank a soldier, airman, sailor, marine, remember to thank their families.
Because
Yes.
it is indeed a journey as well. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see Jean Turner going in the
Well,
next few years?
first of all, I'm about to
seatbelt.
retire.
Hey!
Yes, and see what God has in store.
Yes.
I do have a few things on the plate. He's blessed me. I'm just like wherever he want to take me. I have a few projects underway, but wherever he wants me, I just want to flow. Flow however, go wherever,
Just open up the
say
windows and just
whatever.
flow.
Yes, he would have me to say and do.
Yes,
So that's
and you
where I
have
am
earned
right
the right
now.
to be in. Yes, you have earned the right to be in that place. So share with the audience how they can stay connected with your social media website.
Yeah, so my website is www.spiritofawarrior.life, and that's where you can find all my educational programs. And social media handles are Facebook, Instagram. I am Misfit Foxy 50 and beyond, and I do offer once a month Sunday self-care sessions live on Facebook, and on Twitter, spiritofawarrior.life.
Spirit of a Warrior right here. You have heard the testimony. You have been inspired. You have been motivated. Remember to take care of yourself, because you are the only you that you have. So remember to take care of yourself. We're so glad that you have joined us for another episode of My Journey with Paula G. Embrace the journey.
Greetings and thank you for tuning in to My Journey with Paula G. We'd like to thank our underwriters, the Good Actor Studio of Marietta, Georgia, my coffee shop at East Lake, Pastors Time International Bible College, Augusta, Georgia, with Dr. Paul and Marcia Kelly, Creekside Dental Incorporated of Douglasville, Georgia, Lusu Designs with Brandon Sampson of Maryland, Survival Radio Network and Clicks Photography by Clark Garrison, and Positive Power XXI Christian Media and Radio Network with Journey Was Live worldwide. We hope you enjoyed this presentation and tune in again. Embrace the journey with Paula G.